God was just about done creating humans. He was feeling pretty satisfied with his work, but he had two parts left over. He couldn't decide how to split them between Adam and Eve, so he thought he might just as well ask them. I've got two things for you, but you'll have to decide who gets what. The first thing is the ability to pee standing up. Adam interrupted. Oh, please give that to me. I'd love to be able to do that. It seems like just the sort of thing a man should have. Please, please, give it to me. On and on he went, like an excited little boy, bouncing up and down. Eve just smiled and told God that if Adam really wanted it so badly, he could have it. So God gave Adam the ability to pee standing up. Adam was so excited that he just started whizzing all over the place. First on the side of a rock, then he wrote his name in the sand, and then he did the helicopter with his thing. Look, Eve, I'm a sprinkler! God and Eve watched him with amusement, and then God said to Eve, well, I guess you're kind of stuck with the last thing I have left. Eve asked, what's that? God said, brains. Upon hearing that her elderly grandfather had just passed away, Katie went straight to her grandparents' house to visit her 95-year-old grandmother and comfort her. When she asked how her grandfather had died, her grandmother replied, he had a heart attack while we were making love on Sunday morning. Horrified, Katie told her grandmother that two people nearly 100 years old bumping uglies would surely be asking for trouble. Oh no, my dear, replied Granny. Many years ago, realizing our advanced age, we figured out the best time to do it was when the church bells would start to ring. It was just the right rhythm, nice and slow and even. Nothing too strenuous, simply in on the ding and out on the dong. She paused to wipe away a tear and continued. He'd still be alive if the ice cream truck hadn't come along. One day at a bus stop, there was a girl who was wearing a skin-tight miniskirt. When the bus arrived and it was her turn to get on, she realized that her skirt was so tight that she couldn't get her foot high enough to reach the step. Thinking it would give her enough slack to raise her leg, she reached behind and unzipped her skirt a little. She still could not reach the step. Embarrassed, she reached back once again to unzip it a little more. Still, she couldn't reach the step. So, with her skirt zipper halfway down, she reached back and unzipped her skirt all the way. Thinking that she could get on the step now, she lifted up her leg, only to realize that she still couldn't reach the step. So, seeing how embarrassed the girl was, the man standing behind her put his hands around her waist and lifted her up onto the first step of the bus. The girl turned around furiously and said, "How dare you touch my body that way? I don't even know you." Shocked, the man says, "Well, ma'am, after you reached around and unzipped my fly 3 times, I kind of figured that we were friends." A wife woke one morning and found the following note left on her bedside table. "My dear wife, you will surely understand that I have certain needs that you, being 57 years old, can no longer satisfy. I am very happy with you, and I value you as a good wife. Therefore, after reading this letter, I hope that you will not wrongly interpret the fact that I will be spending the evening with my 18-year-old secretary at the Comfort Inn Hotel. Please don't be upset. I shall be home before midnight." When the man came home later that night, he found the following letter on the dining room table. "My dear husband, I received your letter, and thank you for your honesty about my being 57 years old. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that you are also 57 years old. As you know, I am a math teacher at our local college. I would like to inform you that while you read this, I will be at the Hotel Fiesta with Michael, one of my students, who is also the assistant tennis coach. He is young, virile, and like your secretary, is 18 years old. As a successful businessman who has an excellent knowledge of math, you will understand that we are in the same situation, although with one small difference. 18 goes into 57 a lot more times than 57 can go into 18. Therefore, I will not be home until sometime tomorrow. There once was a married couple who were in a terrible accident. The wife's face was burned severely. The doctor suggested a skin graft, but unfortunately, the doctor had to inform her that they couldn't use any skin from her body because she was so thin. The husband then offered to donate some of his skin for the skin graft. However, the doctor said that the only suitable skin was from his buttocks. They accepted, but requested that no one be told of this because, after all, this was a very delicate matter. After the surgery was completed, everyone was astounded at the wife's new beauty. She looked more beautiful than she ever did before. All her friends and relatives just ranted and raved at her youthful beauty. One day, she was finally alone with her husband, and she wanted to thank him for what he did. She said, "Dear, I just want to thank you for everything you did for me. There is no way I could ever repay you." To which he replied, "Oh, don't worry. I get plenty of thanks every time your mother comes over and kisses you on your cheek." Two racehorses were sitting at a bar having a few beers when one turns to the other and says, "Jerry, something really strange happened to me at the track the other day." "What happened, Bill?" "Well, I was running a race and I was stuck in the middle of the pack trying to break away. I thought I would lose that race, but then I saw a strange light flash from the stands. I turned and looked at it, and whoosh, all of a sudden I was at the front of the pack and I ended up winning the race." "Holy crap," said Jerry. "Bill, that's exactly what happened to me only a few days ago. I was running a race and about halfway, I started to drop back. I thought I was going to lose for sure, but then I saw that strange light coming from the stands. You're right, Jerry, it just seemed to get brighter, and then suddenly, whoosh, there I was 5 lengths in front, and I ended up winning the race." As the two racehorses discussed the incident, a race dog sitting at a nearby stool came up to them. "Excuse me, lads," said the race dog. "I couldn't help but overhear your conversation, and I wanted to let you know that that very same thing happened to me about a week ago down at the track. I was running a race and struggling on the outside lane, trying to get some space, when I started to drift further back and away from the lead. I knew I was going to lose that race, but then that very strange light that you boys had just described started pulsing from the stands. Well, as you may have already guessed, whoosh, there I was up at the front, and I ended up winning that race, although I've never been able to figure out exactly how." The two horses were awestruck. "Holy crap, Bill, did you just hear what I heard?" "I can't believe it," said Jerry. "It's a bloomin' talking dog." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.